Welcome to Pantera Basketball Live. The Toronto Raptors blow another one. They blow another fourth quarter lead. They blow another game, an NBA Cup game. And there's a bit of a history with these two teams, the Toronto Raptors and the Detroit Pistons, going back to 2017. Almost always, the team that wins the first game sweeps the season series. It's been 3-0, 4-0, 0-4, like that. The only season over the last 6 years where this has not been true was last year, where the Toronto Raptors won the season series 2-1. But you'll remember that they were the team that ended the Detroit Pistons streak. And it was a humiliating day for a lot of Raptor fans because nobody wanted to be that team. This year, the Detroit Pistons and the Toronto Raptors are on different paths. You know, the Detroit Pistons under their new head coach are a little bit better than last year. They've won some competitive games, a lot of them down to the wire. Cade Cunningham has looked better. And Toronto Raptors had their hands full because they were once again without Scotty Barnes and once again without Emmanuel Quickley. Scotty Barnes currently donning the Dark Knight mask right now. No Bruce Brown, no Jacoby Walter, no Kelly Olynyk. How many times have I said that this year so far? Too many. But the Toronto Raptors dialed it up defensively. Unfortunately for the Dinos, they failed to break 100 points for the second straight game and just seemed to run out of gas. And there are just units that this team puts out on the court that cannot score for minutes at a time. There was a stretch between the end of the first and the early second where the Raptors went a full, I want to say 5 minutes without scoring the basketball or putting it in through the hoop. That's a long time to go without scoring the basketball. And the Raptors had a similar drought in the fourth quarter when it mattered most, and the Detroit Pistons did pull ahead. If you're rooting for the tank, this is the best tank game that you could have ever imagined. It's at home. You got a competitive home loss. You held the opposing star to an abysmal performance, although I use the word star lightly because I don't think Cade Cunningham is a star. I called it before this game that I thought Jakob Poeltl and RJ Barrett were going to beast on this team because they have absolutely no interior defense, as we found out when Giannis Antetokounmpo put 59 points on this team just a few days ago. This is not a team with good interior defense. It's not a good team with good perimeter defense. This is not a team with a superstar. This is not a team with a super bright future. They think they have a bright future. That's cool. The Toronto Raptors, they got a bounce back game from RJ Barrett, although it ended a lot worse than it started. It started out really promising. You were like, oh my God, this is going to be a 30 piece for RJ Barrett. It kind of fizzled out. A couple of really big plays late, but also a couple of really big misses late. Grady Dick, same story. How many times this year have we seen Grady Dick start out really hot and then kind of run out of steam as the game went on? That's not a slight on Grady. It's more of a indictment of how much he's having to work through the other three quarters to even get his offense off. Maybe 35 minutes for Grady Dick right now is just a little too much. But where do you go? Where do you go if not for him? If not for RJ? If you put them both on the bench, you have absolutely nothing. There's a lot to break down in today's game. We're going to look at tons of clips. Some good, some bad. I got a cheat sheet for you. A lot of the bad has to do with Davion Mitchell again. So if you're one of those people who's like, Rob, stop being mean to Davion, I'm going to ask you to stop treating him like a 9-year-old as opposed to a professional basketball player. A professional basketball player should not be whipping the basketball at his teammates' hands, forcing turnovers. A professional basketball player should not be blowing layups at the rim at his current rate. A professional basketball player. He did make a really big play down in the fourth quarter. Credit where credit is due. Stripped Marcus Sasser. Made it a competitive game. But again, the Raptors put Cade at the line. Was it Cade? No, they put Jaden Ivey at the line. He split the free throws. They put Jalen Duren at the line. He split the free throws. They were in it, but they lost. Is this what you're rooting for, Raptor fans? Is this what you're rooting for? Is this the capture the flag sweepstakes? The Toronto Raptors moved to 2-11. They're the worst team in basketball. Right now, it doesn't look like they're the worst team in basketball. If you just watch them play on a good possession, they don't look like the worst team in basketball. And I got news for you. They are definitely not the worst team in basketball. I was the person who said last year the Pistons weren't the worst team in basketball and had everyone call me crazy. When they were in the midst of their 20 plus game losing streak, I was like, the Pistons are not nearly as bad as people think they are. And this year they're proving me right. They're not nearly as bad. They're not the worst team. They're still a bottom 10 team. I don't believe in their future, but they're not that bad. And the Toronto Raptors are nowhere near as bad as the Pistons were last year. I actually think the Raptors are a better team than the Pistons even this year. But the Pistons have a winning, not a winning record, but they're winning more. Let's take a look at what happened. Jakob Poeltl with a huge night. The broadcast announced that he had 20 rebounds, but ESPN seems to report him having 19. Let's give him 20. 25 points and 20 rebounds. Screw ESPN. Three blocks. RJ Barrett had 22 points, although somewhat inefficiently, 33% from the field, 6 for 18. But he got to the line 9 times, created a ton of good looks. And among starters, he was leading them with plus 14. Plus 14. RJ Barrett, don't look at the field goal percentage tonight. He was much better than the field goal percentage suggests. A player that we have been glazing nonstop, which is Ochai Agbaji, writing piece after piece about Ochai and how great he's been. Well, tonight was a really rough night for Ochai and Grady. Ochai went 1 for 5 from 3. Grady went 1 for 10 from 3. Grady went 4 for 17 from the field. Ochai went 4 for 15. They were just a lid on the basket for these guys. Grady managed to be plus 13 regardless, but nevertheless, off the bench, the Raptors did not get a single player to break double digits. And it's ironic because the guy who did nearly break double digits with Jamison Battle was a team worst negative 27. He just so happened to be on the court during a lot of really bad runs. Okay. The Raptors tried Garrett Temple at point for 2 minutes because they were getting absolutely nothing from their other point guards. They got a negative 17 performance from Jamal Shed, who managed 4 points, 1 assist in 10 minutes on 2 for 4 shooting. He was assertive, he was aggressive, but wasn't very effective. Chris Boucher, as far as Chris Boucher games go, this was bad. 2 blocks, yes. 7 rebounds, yes. 1 for 5, yes. 2 points, yes. You needed something different from him, and there was a possession in the first half. I want to say in that stretch that I described where nobody could score on the Raptors, where both he and Bruno Fernando managed airball layups. There were a lot of airballs tonight for the Raptors. Is it just me, or have I never seen more airballs in my life than I have seen through the first 13 to 14 games of this season? It has been really bad. Davion Mitchell, fresh off of 1 point in the last game, managed 5 points in this game, including a wide open layup created off of a steal. Davion Mitchell managed a quadruple single, 5 points, 5 assists, 6 rebounds, and 3 steals. But hey, he was on the mic, and at least he's active, and at least he encourages people. That's good. Jakob Poeltl, again, as I mentioned, 12 for 21 from the field, 3 blocks. This is about as good a Jakob Poeltl game as you're going to find. And honestly, as someone who was very high on Jalen Duren, like early on in his career, I was like, man, they got to steal at 13. They're going to be really good. I have been absolutely horrified by his play this year, and he has not made a step defensively. I thought he got thoroughly outplayed, like about as outplayed as any center I've seen Jakob Poeltl play this season. I thought he was terrible. Cade, oh my God, Brick City. He made a 3 late, but like, congratulations. He was 1 for 8 at one point. He was 4 for 18 at one point. I mean, he was bad. Okay. Don't look at the 10 assists. He handles the ball a lot. 15 points, created a nice little alley-oop dunk. I was not impressed. I was not moved. And I'll say it, I've heard a lot of people in Raptorland changing their tune on Cade Cunningham this season because he's been putting up some pretty gaudy stats. And, I was listening to a podcast with Samson and Trey the other day where they both had Cade as a top 3 pick in a redraft on 2021. I'll put this as a hot take. I wouldn't take Cade as a top 5 pick in a 2021 redraft. And if I did, he would be 5th. No chance I'm taking over Scotty or Evan Mobley. Sorry, Trey. No chance in hell I'm taking him over Franz Wagner. Sorry, Samson. And I'm definitely not taking him over Alperen Şengün. Y'all crazy, man. A little bit of success, man. I'm sorry. He just does not finish well over the length. He's leading the league in turnovers. He had 4 turnovers tonight. I'm just not moved, man. He's been better than what I thought, but better than what I thought is not a top 5 pick in a redraft. I'm sorry. He might be 6th, 5th. I mean, Trey Murphy, Cade Cunningham. I don't know. I mean, I'm splitting hairs at that point, really. I'll take him over Jalen Green, but I'm not sure about Jalen Suggs. You see what I mean? Like, it's dicey. Right now, okay, let's take a look at the game cast. And wait, let's take a look at the team stats quickly. And we will get into the film session, and I promise you it will be very entertaining, if not depressing. Okay, so 35 for 98 from the field for the Raptors, 39 for 95 from the field for the Pistons. This was not a beautiful game. 8 for 31 from 3 for the Raptors, including the 9 misses from Grady and the 4 misses from Ochai. Really tough game for those two. Really tough. Okay, the Raptors did get to the line 22 times. They capitalized 17 of 22, and they crashed the offensive glass. They had 18 offensive rebounds, and I thought that was huge. But the Pistons do manage to out-rebound them. They managed to out-assist them. And again, it's interesting how the Raptors were on this streak of 30 assists every single game, and now it's like they can't. They just can't break 25, 26 assists. And I understand that assists are directly proportionate to how many points you score. And if you score 95 points, it's going to be hard to break 30 assists because that damn near means like most of your points were assisted. And if you get into the line, it's not an assist, et cetera, et cetera. I get all of that. But I still say that the Raptors are being a little bit more ball dominant than they were when their offense was humming. And you know what? That top 15 offense, I haven't looked at it in a couple of games, but I'm pretty sure it's not top 15 anymore. Both teams led by 8 at one point. The Raptors did not foul very much today, which is, a relief because they're pretty much leading the league in fouls if they're not top 3 in fouls. And points in the paint, the Raptors win that battle 52-48. Let's take a look at the game cast. There was a significant portion of this game where the Raptors were absolutely favored to win this game. Take a look at this. So this is a little blip. So just for context sake, the Pistons came into this game as 2.5 point favorites to win on the road, which is mildly depressing, but that was largely because they're healthier right now. And that's just about it. If Scotty Barnes was playing, the Raptors would be favored to win this game guaranteed. However, it was a blip in that first quarter where the Raptors momentarily led 27-22, in which they had a win probability north of 50%. And then it was a lot of Pistons. And then Toronto pretty much had this game coming out of the second half. Like, they came out of the gate with a lot of energy. Defensively, they were communicating, clicking. I think they tried very hard and communicated very well. They shut down the water on Cade Cunningham, and it was not just one person. It was two people basically all the time. It was either Davion or Ochai, and then it was, someone like Chris Boucher or Jonathan Mobo, or especially Jakob Poeltl, just sort of manning the back line and cutting out those angles. And I thought that was really impressive. But then we got to 82-80, and then the whole thing just fell apart. 82-82, 84-82, 90-85. The Pistons just went on a run, man. And if you want to look at it, the game flow will tell the story. Take a look. There's a stretch where the Raptors just could not score. And that was right going into the second quarter. They went scoreless pretty much. They held pat at 27 points. Let me see how long. Yeah. They managed to score 3 points in like 5 minutes. And that's really like where the Pistons caught up, right? And then there was this big surge to begin the third quarter, and then it happened again right at the end of the third quarter going into the fourth quarter. And ironically, it's the same goddamn half. If you think about it, it's the same half. The only difference is the Pistons finished strong here and they didn't finish strong here. But I mean, really, if you think about it, it's that third quarter to fourth quarter bridge in the second half and the first quarter to second quarter bridge in the first half that pretty much killed you. Both halves identical, right? The Raptors get outscored 26-17 in the fourth quarter, which was bad. Take a look at the shot chart here. The Raptors made one mid-range shot, and that was a Jamal Shed. And it wasn't even a mid-range shot. It was like it was a floater, right? They didn't make a single mid-range shot the entire game. Everything was in the paint, as evidenced by their 52 points, and it was 3. This is the Emmanuel Quickley, Scotty Barnes zone. Nobody's taking threes from there. Cool. They made one corner three, which is Jameson Battle. I remember that. And then another corner three, which was RJ Barrett on the other side. And that's about it. The Pistons, they got a lot of mid-range shots. And they had a really good game from Malik Beasley. And I think that really is the story of the game for me, at least. Malik Beasley was great for the Pistons. All right, now let me remove this for a second, respond momentarily to a super chat from Christian Burton saying, "Hey, tanking. Losing creates a really bad mentality for your team, really starting to not want to tune in anymore this season. It's tough to watch." Well, I respect your decision regardless of what you choose to do, but I'll say something to you from this perspective. This is not a bad culture team. This is not a bad mentality team. This is a team that is holding together. This is a team that is still encouraging each other. This is just a team that is artificially losing in the most insane, interesting ways. I mean, look, there are 100 different ways to lose a basketball game. You have to see the forest from the trees when it comes to this, right? Now, the math is going to spell itself out. At some point, you're going to have a situation where, you're just not going to be able to justify keeping some of your veterans in the lineup, right? Because there won't be anything to play for. Like once you start getting into 3-18, 4-22 territory, the math is pretty much the math on the season, and then the rest of the 82 games just kind of take care of themselves. So I understand that you're not rooting for wins, but as I've mentioned before, in the winning effect and videos to that nature in the off season, there's a lot that the Raptors are doing, which is like a win every day. Do you know what I mean? Like their defense has been really decent against the Bucks and now against the Pistons. This was the 30th ranked defense. They were terrible. In the last two games, they've been really good. Like legit great defense. Like I'm not kidding. Their defense has been really good. Communications have been great. Switches have been really good. They're not getting cooked on defense anymore. They're getting completely annihilated on offense. But what did Darko say before the season? No skip steps, right? You're a young team. You're an inexperienced team. You're a completely talent depleted team. I was thinking about this to myself the other day, just how much Davion Mitchell is hurting this offense right now. And it is so obvious how much he's hurting them. And he's helping the defense. I'll give him credit for that. But he is choke holding the offense. Like it is unimaginable bad. So I was thinking to myself, the Raptors had a mid-level exception. How easy would it have been for them to split it between DeLon Wright and Tyus Jones, both of whom took minimum contracts? Say here, you don't want to be a minimum player because, that's usually a death sentence on your NBA future and usually your future contract value. So why don't you, two very serviceable point guards, why don't you guys just split the mid-level exception at $6 million or $5.5 million a piece? Would they have taken it? Well, at that point, you would have had two serviceable, borderline starting point guards, rotation level point guards that you could have used. And you probably are like 6 wins right now, 5 wins. Like that's the difference. But you can make that swap later. You understand what I'm saying? I'll give you an example of like how the Raptors are losing. Okay, I played high school basketball. Let's use that as an example. So it would be like having this like really great team, point guard, awesome, good pull-up shooter, good floor general, good defender, great shooting guard, versatile two-way guy, active wings, bigs, like small forward, power forward. But then just for some reason, starting someone who's like 5'8" at center every game just because you want to, and losing every game by like 4 points because this 5'8" center just cannot function in a high school competitive basketball game. He's getting killed on the glass, and everyone's kind of looking around like, yo, like, could we find someone in the hallway or in the crowd who can do a better job than this guy? Yes, you can. You can do that later. Davion Mitchell will not be on this team next year. Don't clip me, but like I'm pretty sure. Okay. The way you're losing right now is perfectly fine with me. It's competitive. There's growth. You're just missing shots. Why are you missing shots, man? You're missing shots because guys are over leveraged and are exerting themselves defensively to just stop the bleeding. and just to muck these games up. And you're finding these new fascinating ways to lose. So 3 weeks ago, you were losing 127 to 130, and now you're losing 95 to 99. Cool. You found a new way to lose. You may not see the value in that, but I certainly do. Okay. Let me okay. Let me share with you the plays. Let's get into the film session at the 20-minute mark. Okie doke. All right. Grady Dick is fearless, and gosh, I mean it. You know, he attacks set defenses, transition defenses. He's awesome. Here's Tobias Harris, who is nobody's definition of a good defender. I'm not really sure like how much of a foul that was, but Grady sells it so well, man. Grady is getting to the line at a really good rate for the most part, especially relative to last season. Now look at this really cool play by RJ Barrett, which was the first of I think it was like it wasn't the first, but it was like some of early Jakob possessions. So here, once again, Tobias Harris, surprise, surprise, the Pistons $25 million man. Okay, just passing this right over Jalen Duren's head. Jalen Duren just completely ass, like just so bad. You know, I had such high hopes for that guy, but like his defense is like it makes him borderline unplayable. I think they got like much better defense from someone like Isaiah Stewart. All right. Now, this was a sneaky vet move by RJ Barrett. And I don't think they called it out, but watch this. So RJ is holding on to Cade Cunningham here. He's got his arm pretty much locked. And then he'll fall. And Cade's like, I wasn't doing anything. And I just thought this was an absolutely hilarious vet move. Sorry, let me remove this super sticker. I appreciate your super chat, Christian. Appreciate it a lot. Hang on. Move that. My bad. That was uh Zigsaw Puzzle saying flop J. Hey, it benefited us. All right. So I thought that was hilarious. I caught it in real time and I was a little bit shocked. Speaking of RJ Barrett, defense. Okay, man. Much better defensive effort during this game. Overall, like he still got burned. There was a play in the fourth quarter where he didn't get back and they got early transition because he was bummed out that he missed a shot. There's a lot of bad habits that are going to take a while to get out, but hey, you know, like Tobias Harris's ass and RJ Barrett seems to know that. So, you know, tough. You know, just you want to see compete. And this is compete, you know? Looks like Davion, like a taller Davion Mitchell out there. It's great. Okay. Now, I'm making a callback to Andrea Bargnani on this one. I said that they're calling Grady Dick Il Mago out there because this is goddamn magical. Look at this. Like, yo, that's a 1 foot floater falling away. What the hell was that? Like, I don't think I've ever have I seen anyone do that? Yeah, I have, but I haven't seen Grady Dick do that. And not in my wildest dreams did I ever expect the Grady Dick would do that. So that's pretty cool. Now, take a look at two of the worst possessions of the game. And guess what? They were back to back. This is I mean, this is Bruno Fernando, who was serviceable today. But this is like, yo, what are you doing? Like you got to connect with the rim here, right? And Chris Boucher with his arms out is just a hilarious thing. Like, yo, like, what are you doing, Bruno? How could you possibly do that? How could you possibly do that? Never mind. I'm gonna do the same thing. Different side of the floor. Oh, I'm dead. Okay, that was one of Chris Boucher's 4 epic misses tonight. Not fun. Not a fun game from Chris Boucher. You need much, much more. You're offensively depleted. Those lineups need a lot more of that from him. Now, this is Davion Mitchell doing what they teach you in school. Never do this. You never throw the basketball in your own backcourt like this. And Davion is small and Davion is cornered. And per my estimation, Davion was out of bounds there. But nevertheless, he's going to lob this to Jonathan Mobo. And Ron Holland is going to intercept it. And this is going to result in Jalen Duren going to the line, which is fine because he's not a great free throw shooter, but it could have been a lot worse. Could have been an open three. It could have been a lot more. And just, you know, it's more Davion stuff. Now, Darko Rajakovic yesterday when he spoke to the media, or 2 days ago when he spoke to the media, spoke about Jonathan Mobo not being comfortable being outside the paint, right? That he's just always hanging around down there. And he's like, he has the green light for me to shoot. Well, this is probably why Jonathan Mobo doesn't want to shoot. And it's not any criticism on Jonathan. Jonathan's got to take these shots. And that's certainly not the worst miss the Raptors had. But notice that Ochai Agbaji is pretty much wide open on this play. And Jalen Duren is a really, really trash defender. Okay. So if Jonathan Mobo wanted to take one step in, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, where was the shot clock at this point? I just want to make sure that I'm not like, let me see here. I think the shot clock was at 3. If I'm wrong, I apologize, but I think a swing over to Ochai or a driving kick to Ochai would have been a better shot. But nevertheless, you're encouraged that he's doing what his coach is asking him to do. And this was one of my favorite plays of the night. This was like the one that got me just on my feet because he strips the ball away from Cade Cunningham and then finds Grady streaking down. And then look at Cade, just waving at the ball. Cade Cunningham, like the biggest depressing factor of Cade is not just how turnover prone he's been and how inefficient he's been for the most part through his NBA career. It's just how ass he's been on defense. Like you can't be a superstar who's not like superstar and like a superstar type, like a superstar efficiency, superstar impact, and be this ass defensively and a turnover machine. Like you just can't. Like I'm sorry. Oh, here we go. This is to exhibit how lost Davion Mitchell gets on plays. Like this is the widest open three for a guy who's shooting 36.2%, 36.4% from three this year. You can't lose him, right? Because the thing is that a player like Cade is a rhythm player. It's like a lot of players like him are rhythm players. So if they see one fall down in the first quarter, second quarter, whatever, that can build up a lot of confidence. You need to keep the water shut off. The problem is Davion Mitchell is like, just why? Like, why collapse that way? And yeah, it's just a really fortunate thing that Cade missed, but thought it was worth pointing out. This was another play by Grady that just had me out of my seat because this was like, whoa, look at this beautiful, just, I don't even know what the hell that was. And then from behind, Tobias Harris is going to foul because Tobias Harris is definitely not worth $25 million to pile on himself. But nevertheless, okay. Now, this is some more, let's call it Davion Mitchellisms. Is that like we just have an episode like, I don't know, like Shacked in a Fool? Like, well, what do we do? Okay. Davion gets the ball, right? Now, any competent point guard is driving right down the middle before they swing this. But Davion is going to pump fake absolutely no one, pass fake, sorry, to Ochai. And Cade is going to do that stupid thing that he always does, which is allow his offensive player to go past him, but then try to just reach at it to kind of show like, hey, look, coach, I'm trying. And then Davion Mitchell, who has a completely uncontested pass here, is going to whip the ball at Ochai Agbaji's face. And so help me God, if you think that that pass was Ochai Agbaji's fault, please unsubscribe for the love of God, because it was not. Okay, I literally talked to a passing talent on the panel just 2 days ago as it pertains to guys like James Harden and Nikola Jokic and why they're so good versus someone like a Giannis Antetokounmpo who's not nearly as good. And I went on this little rant on the panel where I said the passing talent or lack thereof that I have been subjected to this year is the stuff of my nightmares. Like I am so sick and tired of watching people have balls whipped at their face. And it's been happening all goddamn year. Like this is such a stupid, like why are you whipping this? This is like such an advantage. You finally did the right thing. You drove and now you pass at the guy's head. Like that was just so uncalled for at that moment. And you're there. Like you're 61-58 and plays like that completely kill your momentum. As do plays like this, which is like literally the next play. Like, what are we doing? Oh, this was back-to-back possessions or like within 3 possessions. And it's just like, okay. what is the idea here? You passed it right to Ron Holland, man. Like that's like back to back. Like you gotta give some credit to RJ and Ochai and Grady for playing as well as they have this year, even through their struggles, because they are playing with a player who has absolutely no hope of creating decent offense. If they were playing with Tyus Jones right now, and Tyus Jones is a minimum contract player right now for the Phoenix Suns, they would be 100 times better. I will bet it. Now, this is a little bit of shit posting on Cade and just some of his misses. Like, I'm just not impressed. Like, I don't care. I know a lot of smart people that think he's really good. I will die on this hill. And then 3 years from now, they'll be like, oh, I guess he wasn't a franchise player. I don't know what we were looking at. I don't know what we were seeing. I guess you were seeing the aura. Maybe it was an aura thing. I have no idea, man. I really don't. Like, I've been watching basketball for a really long time. I've seen a lot of superstars in my life. This ain't one of them. This definitely is not one of them. Okay. Granted, this is one of his worst games, but like this kind of shit, I've been doing this for 3 years. Like, he does not finish well around the paint. This is Chris Boucher just, and I mean, it's tough to shoot over Chris Boucher, but that's the point. Superstars should be able to finish over Chris Boucher. I'm just throwing that out there. Like, Chris Boucher is not a superstar stuffer, right? You can be able to put a body into him. Now, this one, I gotta hit mute because there's a Jeopardy theme that plays over it. But okay, this is Bruno Fernando making a decision. It's the wrong decision. Now, you could say, was that just a miscommunication? I just thought that it was hilarious because he travels so many times on this play. Watch his feet. Okay, so just watch his feet. If the referees wanted to call travel, they could have called it travel. Okay, if you play basketball, you know that the pivot. Just watch his pivot foot. The pivot foot is his left foot. Okay, just do me a favor and watch his pivot foot the entire time. Okay, and just tell me how many steps he takes. Okay, let's try that one more time, Bruno. Okay, he establishes the left as his pivot foot. That is a travel. That's another travel. That's another travel. And that's a turnover. So 3 travels and a turnover on the same goddamn play. You know, it's really weird. Okay. Nice 3 by Jamison Battle to just cut up all this negativity. Nice little step back. All right. Side step. Sorry, not step back. You know, that's tough, man. Tiptoeing that 3-point line, faking the shit out of this defender, and then just finding that open pocket. He does not need a lot of room to get that off, and that was really cool. And here we go. Now, I'm going to tell you something. When I saw him right here, I literally closed my eyes and I imagined how this play would go. And when I opened my eyes, I rewinded it and then went exactly how I thought it was going to go. This is a really easy layup for most NBA players. This is easy peasy. You've gotten ahead on the defense. You're one-on-one. There's no NBA player that I can think of that starts in the NBA that will not convert this into an and one or a layup. Not Davion Mitchell, though. Yep. So, yep. I was literally, I closed my eyes and I'm like, it's going to hit back rim. He's going to miss it. It's like, I honestly, you know that open layup that he had off that steal? I was pretty sure he was going to miss that too. Wide open. Okay. When you need a bucket, dial Barrett. I thought that was the coolest. I thought that was the coolest call of the game from Matt Devlin. I don't usually give Matt Devlin a lot of shout outs or flowers because I'm usually just in my feelings about missing Trustworthy. But man, that was a great one. When you need a bucket, dial Barrett. Like that was like a law firm ad, and I like that. That was cool. Nice. And oh, who's that defender again? Is that Tobias Harris, $25 million man? Yo, it's like the Detroit Pistons had literally just united all of my most hated players on one team, with the exception of Asar Thompson. They're a team that I just actively root against. I don't know what I can say. All right. Now I'm kidding. I like Jalen Duren sometimes. Jaden Ivey's cool. but Tim Hardaway Jr., you know what I mean? Like they just become so easy to kind of detest, you know? All right. Now, this is a great pass from RJ Barrett. Like fantastic pass from RJ Barrett. Raptors currently down 2. You make a case that maybe you dump this off to Jakob Poeltl if you knew he was there. And when I say advanced reads versus not advanced reads, but man, if you could take 10 times out of 10, you probably take an open 3 for Grady, right? Now, Duran is not recovering on Yak for a layup here. I'll guarantee you right now, Scotty passes this to Yak. I'll bet you any amount of money because I've seen him do this play like 100 times. But RJ makes up his mind that he's passing to Grady like right here. Like he already knows like right there, he sees Grady's open. So he's just like trying to find a way. And that's when he confirms Grady's still there. So he's not even looking at Jakob Poeltl. And Grady's going to get a wide open 3. Wide open. Now, in fairness, you're down 2. No one's really in foul trouble. I have no problem going to overtime here. You have momentum. Well, I wouldn't say you have momentum, but you have a chance. But taking a 3 here, you didn't need it when you had an open layup. I got to say an open layup is probably better for a struggling, and it's again, like these are small little calculus decisions that you want to make. Like, do you go for an open 3 when the guy is to that point 1 for 8? Or do you go for the open layup for the guy who has 25 points? I don't know. You probably go for the open layup for the guy who has 25 points. What do you think? Let me know. If you're watching this after in the comments, let me know. What was the right move there? But regardless of what the right move was, he did his job. He sucked the 2 defenders and he found an open player. If Grady wanted to fling it like super quick to if Grady wanted to pass this shot up right now, hang on, just watch here. No. Could he have? No, that would have been too. Like if Grady wanted to drive and dump this off to Yak, he probably could have, but you don't get cute with it. Take the shot. That's your shot. Grady's a good 3-point shooter, but struggling, you live with the 3, and he would have another chance because they do foul Jaden Ivey and he misses. And here you get wide open. Here's Jaden Ivey again, one of the 3, and it gets shaken like how do you get that shaken? Like, this is why I don't think the Pistons have a future. To anyone who is like, oh man, I wish we were like the Pistons, miss me with that energy. I don't want this many defensive issues in the same lineup or core. Like, what the hell? Like, that's the most open shot in the history of game winners. I don't think you could be more open than what Grady is right now. I mean, unfortunately for him, he misses this, right? Jaden's got long arms. He offers a bit of a late contest, but I think he would have missed this in an open gym. I think his legs were just dead, tired, right? So, yeah, that's just where I'm at right now, where yeah. Okay, call-in link is in the description. If you would like to call in, please call in. If not, that's perfectly cool. No callers is perfectly A-okay with me. Okay, this is a tough loss. This is one in a string of tough losses for the Toronto Raptors. And, if you feel perhaps, here, this team is trying to lose. This is a W in my books. Capture the flag, soon come. Sure. I just splashed water all over my interface. My bad. Okay. So, takeaways from this game. Nice to see RJ Barrett have a bit of a bounce back, see him be assertive and sort of snake into the paint. And I think he could have done more. This was not a great RJ Barrett game. I was expecting much, much more. Right. But it could be worse. Right. It could be worse. Like last game was abysmal for RJ Barrett. Like possibly one of the worst games of his NBA career. One of them. He's had a lot of stinkers, but one of the worst ones I've seen in at least 2 years. This game was not nearly that bad. I think he got really competitive defensively. Harrison Silva saying, what do you think is the tipping point where we 100% decide to start the tank? You know, why don't we do this? Instead of recapping this game, why don't you guys just pour in your questions? If you want to super chat, cool. If you don't want to super chat, you don't want to spend money, totally cool. Let's just do like a 10-minute question and answer type of thing. Ask me anything. Ask me about life. Ask me about philosophy. Ask me about money. Ask me about stocks. Ask me whatever the hell you want. And let's just see how many of these we can answer as quickly as possible. I think that could be meaningful for the community. I often like to think about the fan experience of watching a team like this. And I think about, what would I want as an audience member? Maybe I would want a nice little Q&A session where my question could get answered. Maybe I would want a chess tournament. No, I'm a nerd. I want the chess tournament. But, you let me know, like, what questions do you want? So to answer this question first, what do you think the tipping point is where we 100% decide to start the tank? Well, when you decide to start Davion Mitchell in an NBA game, I think you're tanking. How does Bari and Coop on this team rank in terms of young cores around the league? If we were to manage to get Jabari Smith and Cooper Flagg, you would be a top 3 young core in the league. Rob, what do you think about Montrezl Harrell? Not a fan. Do you think Jakob Poeltl gets traded this year? No, but he should. He might get shut down at some point. What's your chess rating? It's currently 13 plus. I think it's like 1306, or it may have dipped to like 1220, but it's hovered between 1220 and 1400 over the last few months. Do you think we should trade for athletic center like Nick Claxton? Perhaps think his value is low and he's all right. I don't think his value is low at all. They just signed him to an extension. Yeah. Will Scotty come back with a mask trying for his max contract? Well, speaking of Scotty and his mask, I just created a little reel on Instagram and Twitter and on YouTube where it's like Scotty set to the Dark Knight thing. Will he come back with his mask? I'm not sure. I have no idea. I don't have any insight into Scotty. I haven't asked anybody about it. Frankly, I'm not all too concerned about his Supermax contract at this point. It's just I want him to get back healthy and play well. I do not think you've seen the best of Scotty Barnes yet, but I do think if you start seeing the best of Scotty Barnes, it's going to become really, really hard to lose. So, do you think the Raps would have repeated if Kawhi stayed? Yes. I kind of see what you're saying, but at the same time, I don't. Boucher has had relatively positive reactions. Davion has had a few breaks from criticism, and Bruno has had one good game. I don't understand this at all. We need a big who can shoot. Cool. Do you think Cooper Flagg could fit well with Scotty? Yes, 100%. Cooper is a really smart player, and I think that he would fit really well. Alex saying, who do you have winning in the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight? Bro, that's one of the reasons I want to get out of here really soon because I want to watch that. And I don't know, when does it start? Can someone let me know? I read 8 o'clock and I was like flicking back and forth. When does it actually start though? Does it start at like 11? What am I missing? But speaking specifically for me, I want Mike Tyson to knock that dude out. I want him to knock him out. AG saying blondes, brunettes, or braids. What's your type? What's braids? Oh, braids, like black girls or people with braids. I don't. Uh, I don't know. My dating history would say brunettes and blondes, but yeah, I've actually never had a black girlfriend in my whole life, but I did have a major crush on an Ethiopian girl in high school. She was a super cool person. Don't sleep on redheads. Never had a red-haired girlfriend either. Basically, every single girlfriend, well, almost every single girl I've ever dated has been from Eastern Europe. Bulgaria, Serbia, Croatia is like a very, very select few. I dated a girl from Britain once, Dated a girl from Greece once. Dated a girl from. I did date an Asian girl once. Who else? But mainly it's been a lot of Bulgarian, Serbian, that kind of stuff. East African women, 100%. What alternative do the Raps have to Mitchell at the moment? I know he sucks. I don't know. Me, Garrett Temple, the ball boy. I don't know. Would Memphis give up Edie for Pirtle? No. My girlfriend is Ethiopian. Bro, you are blessed with the greatest food probably on earth. That's awesome. I love Ethiopian food. And I love Egyptian food too. All right, we're gonna bring on a caller, Liam. Liam, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going?
You're on mute. I think I can't
Oh,
hear you.
can you hear me now?
Still can't hear you. Is it just me? Can everyone else hear him, but I can't hear him?
It doesn't say I'm muted.
Chat, can you let me know if you can hear him? Because if you can hear him and I can't hear him, then I have to step out and come back in. We can hear him. Okay, I'm gonna step out and come back in. Don't say anything.
I guess it's my moment. All right, just wait. Hold on. I wasn't prepared for this.
Let's hope.
Nice.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Right on. You left me in charge for a bit. I was like, oh no, I wasn't ready for this.
Okay. Yeah.
So I missed a bit of the game, pretty much like first 3 quarters because I was reffing.
Mm-hmm.
But like just kind of I did see the end of it. But also just kind of box score watching. Like, I know we don't really like. I'm not a big fan of Davion either, but like I wasn't really watching. But was he guarding Cade? Like he must have been doing something right, or was it Ochai on Cade?
It was a lot of both of them. You
Right.
know, Davion picked up high. If there was a switch, Ochai switched on to him. If there was a beat, it was usually Mobo or Boucher or specifically Jakob Pertl who were providing help. But yeah,
How
you
did
don't you
Mobo?
don't you don't need a lot of defense to force Cade Cunningham into
Yeah.
an inefficient night. I think he just shot like 13 for 35 the other night. Like
Oh,
he's
really?
he's
Okay.
built for inefficiency.
Yeah. So another thing I kind of wanted to ask you was like, obviously it's not kind of set in stone yet, but it does look like we might be taking the tank route just because of like the numbers game, like you said. If it ends up we're 4-22 or whatever, if we have the number 1 pick, like who do you want? Like who's the top guy?
Cooper Flagg.
Yeah. Okay.
I
Any like
mean, anyway.
particular reason? Because like I feel like I know a lot of people have said it too. He kind of is a similar mold to Scotty, and I don't know if we maybe need more of a like a score first player, but
I think they're very different, but also do some similar things.
mm-hmm.
Like they're both great passers. Since when is that a bad thing?
Yeah,
They're both really athletic. Since when is that a bad thing? They both switch really well. Since when is that a bad thing? And Cooper can shoot a little bit. Scotty can shoot a little bit. Neither one of them is a non-shooter at this point. None of them are like Ben Simmons. You know what I mean? You can alternate. You would have one of them on the court almost at all times. What a luxury. What a phenomenal luxury. Plus, I think Cooper will probably project more as a four. And I think like Cooper's just like this relentless motor guy, which you almost never see in stars, right? Now, it's worth noting that the last relentless motor guy that I saw at that level was Scoot Henderson, and that has not worked out really well.
right.
So I'm open to potentially being wrong about this as more games unfold. It's super early in the college season so far. He did have those 2 really bad turnovers and everyone was going crazy, but
Yeah,
I
that
don't
was a
really care.
tough end to that game for him. But I feel like oh, I kind of lost my train of thought there, but I get what you're saying with Cooper. Like I feel like you can't go wrong. Obviously, we got the rest of the season to like gauge it a bit more. But I had a thought on like the game. Oh, at the end of the game there, like I just feel like you're right. Like Grady just doesn't like he's playing too much or he's shooting too much or whatever it is because like those 2 threes, like I don't know if it was end of the game nerves or he's just tired, but you feel like he should have made at least one of those 2.
Yeah. For sure.
with how
For
open they
sure.
were. But yeah, just my gauge from watching the last quarter seemed like he was a little tired. He put up a lot of shots tonight, and I haven't been fully watching the box scores every night. I don't know if he's always shooting 17 shots or whatever he took
He
tonight,
took
but
26 shots against the Lakers.
did he? Yeah, well, he scored 30 something, right? 30. So
Sure.
if he's rolling, let him go. But I guess
I think stamina is a really important thing. He's taking like a major bump in overall like usage and load, like the what he's having to do for this team right now. And I'm not necessarily saying it's a bad thing. It's great, like continue to do it. But yeah, it's a tough thing to continuously be in that situation where your team needs you to be on the court and you take 4 minutes away and him and RJ go to the bench at the same time, unfortunately, and then it's like chaos for your box score.
Yeah.
Right. DMF account saying, would you rather have Cade or LaMelo? Neither, but probably LaMelo. Yeah.
Yeah, LaMelo just looks like he's playing like the video game, the way he plays out there. And it would be frustrating to watch if he was on your team and you were like a real basketball savant. I'd be pulling my hair out.
Mm-hmm. There's another caller who's waiting in queue called RJ Shadow Rob. Please turn on your camera before you're let on. You don't have to keep your camera on when you're on, but I just need to see who you are. Are you a troll? No, you're not a troll. I remember. Okay, cool. I remember this guy. Okay, yeah. Any final thoughts, Liam?
Yeah, no, nothing really. I unfortunately didn't get to see most of the game, but hopefully I'll have a bit more insight next time. Looking forward to this Jake Paul fight, so it should be exciting. Hopefully he gets his
Who are
teeth
you
knocked
rooting
out.
for? Oh, okay, cool.
Probably Mike Tyson. I find
it's wild to think that Tyson is the underdog in this fight, but he is 59 years old.
Yeah, he's got 30 years on him or whatever. So
32.
It'll be funny to see. So fingers crossed.
Yep. All right, man.
Pleasure.
See you
next time.
Hey, what's going on, RJ Shadow Rob?
Rob, my man, what's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. I recognize you from your setup.
Yes, sir. It doesn't change. Yes, sir. Yeah. So actually I wanted I know on one of your last lives you had said you wanted to do some type of trade proposals and whatnot. And I do have a few that I wanted to get into real quick if you have some time.
Sure.
Okay, cool. If you don't mind, can you pull up the trade machine?
I can. Yeah.
Appreciate it. I'm also looking forward to that fight too. I'm trying to, I won't be long, I promise, because I want to catch that Tyson fight too.
Who are you rooting for? Are you like the
Tyson? Of course, it got to be Tyson, man. We old school, man. 88, man. Tyson all the way.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm very much rooting for Mike Tyson, and I cannot stand Jake Paul at all.
Yeah.
Like at all. Like he's really up there as one of the most abhorrent, flagrantly annoying people that I think I can think of in the world. So yeah. Okay, what's the trade?
I agree with you, but he can fight though, so we'll see what happens. I know there's a few.
Can he fight? Who has he fought? That's like been really good.
Well. I'm not saying he's a professional, like fight anybody of importance, but he's not to be joked around with. Like if Mike Tyson's not careful, he will get knocked out. So, but I have full confidence in Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Okay, well, if you do, that's going against the Vegas odds right now because Vegas has full confidence in Jake Paul. Very full confidence. Anyways, okay.
Okay, cool. So so this is not really a trade for, let's say, today, but maybe in the near future. I have a kind of a setup. So so it's going to be a 3-team trade. Okay, so it's going to be of course Toronto, it's going to be Milwaukee, and it's going to be Atlanta.
Toronto, Milwaukee, Atlanta. Okay.
I punched this in the trade machine, so I know it works. So I do have a few snippets about it as well. But Toronto is going to send 3 players to Milwaukee. It's going to be Kelly O, Boucher, and Davion Mitchell.
Wait a second. Why can't I add a third team?
It should let you go in that corner box right there. Yeah, you have to. Right.
Add team 3. There we go. Okay, right. Milwaukee and Atlanta. Okay, cool.
Right.
All right, we got 3
Okay.
teams. Cool. Okay. Who
Okay.
am I trading?
So for Toronto, all 3 players are going to Milwaukee. Kelly Olynyk, Boucher, and Davion Mitchell.
You know, it's funny. You said Kelly, and I traded Boucher. So Mitchell. Okay, cool. So they're going to the Bucks. Okay, cool. All right.
Okay. So those 3. So from Milwaukee to Atlanta. Um, no,
Middleton.
sorry. No, Middleton. Sorry, no. Middleton comes back to Toronto, and I'm going to explain why. So Middleton to Toronto.
Okay.
Okay, and then we have DeAndre Hunter to Milwaukee.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on. Did I set that up right? Hold on. Let me just see. Did I set that up right?
No, because the Hawks didn't get anything.
No. Oh no. I'm sorry. I'm mixing this up. So actually, this is gonna be a 2-part trade on the same day. So sorry. Let's backtrack. So actually, it's going to be Brook Lopez coming to Toronto.
So no third team?
No. It's gonna be a third team. It's gonna be a 3 teams. So it's gonna be
Brook Lopez coming to Toronto.
Brook Lopez coming to Toronto.
Okay.
It's going to be Bruce Brown going to Atlanta.
Oh Lord. Okay, hold on one sec. Bruce Brown going to Atlanta. Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be DeAndre Hunter going to Milwaukee. And the Kelly Boucher and Davon, you can get rid of those. That was for a different trade. So basically a 3-team trade, 3 players involved, no picks. I think it would work straight up. So Atlanta, they get off of DeAndre Hunter's contract, which was a multi-year contract. They get a player in Bruce Brown. When he comes back healthy, he should be able to help them out. And if they don't want him, he's just on a 1 year. They don't have to re-sign him. So I think it works for them. Milwaukee, they actually get a player they can use right now in DeAndre Hunter. They need a 4. They need some scoring. They need a little bit of defense. And Middleton would be that player for them. But of course, because of his injury histories, and his uncertainty going forward, I think that DeAndre Hunter would be a better player for them, and he makes less money, so it lowers their cap a little bit. And for Toronto side, Chris Middleton, basically, he's just there. So I know he has I believe a player option for next year. He can choose to pick that up. Next year we might trade him, but I would say for Toronto's sake, we basically just rehab him, sit him out for most of the season, if not the whole season, because we're already, I believe, 2-10 on the season after tonight's loss. Basically,
aren't we 2-11? We're 2-11.
2-11. My mistake. So I would say you let Chris Middleton get back healthy and just sit him for the whole year, and that way, and it also helps our tank because I was with you. Let's see how the season goes at the start, but we're so far below any I believe we're last in the standings. Let's just embrace the tank and see if we can get a high draft pick. So that would be the first trade.
I don't like this trade at all.
Tell me why.
Teams that want to get worse don't trade for bigs. They usually trade away their bigs. This is an old adage in the NBA. If you want to get bad really quickly, you need to trade away your bigs. Now you have a really good big in Brook Lopez who's coming back.
See, so the reason why I like the trade is because
he's 36 years old.
No, but he's also on a 1-year contract, so we don't have to keep working. The plan is not to keep him as well. But the reason why
but he's better than Bruce Brown.
He is, but it gives Scotty, once Scotty returns, it gives Scotty the chance to see how it is to play with a spacing big. I know he has Kelly Olynyk, but I feel like and Kelly's on a 2-year, but I feel like Lopez, he can play next to Scotty, and Scotty can get a feel to how to, because Scotty next to Yak, Yak is a good center, definitely, but I don't think he fits our timeline. I don't think, but
a 36-year-old Brook Lopez doesn't fit our timeline at all.
No, but he's on it inspiring. The plan is to open up cap space and whatnot for next year and bring in a new big, either by draft or by free agency, but just to give Scotty a chance.
But wouldn't it make more sense to try and at least get a piece that you can develop some sort of chemistry with going to next year? Like if you're trying to win next year, having Brook come in this year, unless it is in some sort of desperate attempt to create mentorship for one of your players or to build
Mm.
more. Do you know what I mean? Like, first of all,
Right,
I'm not
right.
even like I love Brooke. I love
Mm.
Robin. I love both of them. They're really cool. They're really cool
Right.
dudes. But like at this point where we are, like having Brooke Lopez come here to just kind of sit on the bench for a tanking team doesn't make him happy, doesn't really
So hold on.
satisfy us.
So this is where I get into trade number two, which I would, if I was the Raptors, I would do on the same day actually, and it was all because of the cap restraints. Because Milwaukee.
And that was the Chris Middleton thing.
Yes, exactly. So
Yeah,
the
but
Chris
you're just
Middleton.
getting way older.
So
The-
you know what? Like in my opinion, sorry to cut you off, but like so in Brook Lopez, in the second trade, it would make him a starter rather than Pirtle start. But anyway, wait, you know, even if we don't like Lopez, then we could just waive him. Actually, you know, if he doesn't want to be here, he's just going to be here for the year. He's an older center. Like you said, there's no one to really develop. You know what? Let's just cut him loose. And we're tanking anyways. Let him go to a contending team. He can sign for the minimum if he wants and whatnot.
you
But
do realize that the player you've traded away
mm,
makes like almost the exact same amount of money as Brooke, and he's also an expiring contract in Bruce
no,
Brown. But the difference is he's 27 years old.
right. I get you. So
So,
actually, I
so
was
you're
going to
getting
throw out.
9 years older. So you're getting 9 years older to waive the guy. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like
I
I would
forgot what.
rather even swap Bruce Brown for a longer term salary on a player that fits a little bit more. Like I would almost understand it even more if you traded Bruce
Mm,
Brown for DeAndre Hunter straight up. Now I
mm,
don't like DeAndre Hunter at all,
no, it's the
right?
contract.
But
Right.
yeah, but like find a
I get what you
team.
mean though.
Yeah, like so find a team that has some long-term salary on a player they
Mm,
don't necessarily find very valuable, but maybe you find some value in, like a Marcus Smart. Like a Marcus
mm,
Smart could be very valuable for our team in terms of setting all culture, identity, whatever. But
most definitely.
ultimately, he's on a 2-year deal. He's not working on a Memphis. Okay, cool. So maybe take a second round pick back to eat the extra 1 year and then
Right,
push the expiring forward, give the Memphis Grizzlies cap flexibility. You know what I mean? Like that
right.
I think that would be a better idea, but nevertheless, I respect your, take. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? So I agree with you in everything you said. You're absolutely right. I scoured the trademark. I scoured every team, and it's very hard to make a trade.
Mm.
Makes a lot of sense, but I think this would help a little bit in terms of us tanking. But anyways, way. So I just want to get to part two of the trade, and then I'll get out of here. So part two, which actually would maybe come first before this trade, but
Is
part
this the
two, you
Chris
know,
is this the Chris Middleton part?
that's right. So the Chris Middleton was just a straight trade between us and Milwaukee. So it's basically two trades involving Milwaukee, but this
Can you
is
just
just
tell me the trade? I don't even want to do it.
that's
Just
okay.
tell me the
Yeah, you
trade.
don't have to. Right. So it's Chris Middleton for Kelly Olynyk, Chris Boucher, and Davion Mitchell, and they would give us maybe a pick swap or a second round pick to
They
carry
don't
us high.
have the roster spots to do that. Number one.
No, so they would have to waive two players, but you know what? They have some young players like a Gary Trent or whoever that
They're
they
not
just
waiving
signed.
Gary Trent to
I
absorb
know
any of those
I know
players.
they just signed them, but I think Kelly Olynyk would really help their spacing a lot. And I think Boucher and Davion off the bench could give them a boost. I'm not saying they're great players, but I think it would give them a boost. But
I think they already have too many players. That's like they need an upgrade. They're trading you one good player for three not so good players. They already have so many not so good players. And you're thinking
right,
about Kelly Olynyk in that context, but I don't really like the fit of him with
mm,
Bobby Portis. Like that to me
yeah,
is not a great
mm,
fit. Neither one of them are centers prototypically. They both need like some rim protection. I think Chris Middleton is by far the best player in that trade. And if Giannis and Dame is going to work, they are not going to support this trade at all. And I think everything runs through Giannis in Milwaukee. Giannis is not supporting a 3-for-1 trade. Anyways, man, thanks a lot for calling in. Appreciate you as always.
respect, my man. Thank you, man.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.
Cheers. Okay. So, yeah, it is hard to make trades. RJ Shadow Rob is right. It is really hard to make trades in the NBA right now. And, will the Toronto Raptors make a trade at some point? It'll probably be a deal which gets them a little bit younger and a little bit smaller. Because I'll say this again, if you want to become bad, there's a really easy way to do it. You trade Jakob Poeltl. But at some point, you may miss the guy. You know what I mean? So Yak, Kelly, Bruce, these are guys who help you win. They're guys who are professionals. They understand how to win. They certainly don't contribute to losing. Guys like Chris Boucher, Bruno Fernando, Davion Mitchell, depends on the night. 9 times out of 10, Davion Mitchell is going to help you lose. So continue helping him lose. You know, he's basically Aaron Baines this year. Congratulations, you know. And when you land a Cooper Flagg or an Ace Bailey or, you know, one of those players, you'll build a statue of Davion Mitchell in your mind and say, thank God for missing every fucking layup you took. You know what I mean? It's difficult to be overly emotionally invested in every win or loss at this point, and I understand that conceptually that's a lot of what being a fan of this team means to you, right? Can I request kindly that being a fan of this team means something else to you just for 1 year? Can you do me that favor? Can you think of it more from the process, right? Okay, we got another caller, Mohammed Hassan. I'm going to warn you, Mohammed Hassan, that we don't have a ton of time right now, but Mohammed, what's up?
Hey, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to try a trade for Milwaukee and LA since Milwaukee is doing very bad. I wanted to see if LA has the pieces.
Milwaukee and LA, between Milwaukee and LA, or Milwaukee and Toronto?
No, Milwaukee and LA, because I want to see if they have the pieces to get Damian Lillard.
Okay, but this is a Raptors show. We're not going to do Milwaukee and LA trades. Sorry.
If Toronto wants to be the third team in, yeah, I'm cool with it too.
Are you a Raptor fan?
Yeah, Raptor fan too, definitely.
This is a Raptor call-in show, dude. I'm not entertaining a Milwaukee and LA trade. Like I don't understand the perspective on this. You want to just tell me about the trade? I don't need to enter it to a trade machine. Like I'm cool with it, but just tell me the trade.
I was wondering if you can help me out with it. That was a reason, because I don't know if LA has the assets or even the cap space to get Damian Lillard. So I was trying to figure that out. Maybe Toronto could be the third team that can help them out.
What are your core pieces that you're trying to trade for Damian Lillard?
If I'm LA, if I'm Milwaukee, I would take D'Angelo back, and because Damian Lillard does have a big contract too, so it maybe D'Angelo and Dalton connect, and somebody from Toronto too.
Was the point of calling in that I could tell you just how far off base you are, or
yeah,
what?
if you want to critique it, that's fine too. Like, what do you think about it?
Sure. Yeah, Damian Lillard is worth like considerably more right now. To like, if Milwaukee started making calls about Damian Lillard to every single team in the league could beat that offer by a country mile. Damian Lillard may be struggling, but Damian Lillard is still box office. Damian Lillard is still an all-star level player. D'Angelo Russell is nothing close to that right now, even though he was once an all-star with the Nets. Are you a Laker fan, perchance?
No, I'm a Toronto fan, but I know since Toronto's not doing good, I was looking at other teams because I know the Lakers are doing good, and I know Damian Lillard probably is not happy in Milwaukee right now.
Why? Okay, but his desired destination was Miami. Why would he want to go to LA? No, man, I don't think I understand you're conceptually trying to create a super team for the Lakers between Damian Lillard and you know, but yeah, like it would require a lot. In terms of the Lakers, they don't really have the assets that Milwaukee would be looking for in a trade like that because Milwaukee's not looking to get worse. They're looking to get better because they have a superstar in his prime who needs certain types of pieces around him. So yes, Dalton Connect and D'Angelo Russell are a start, but it's not even close to matching salary. Like not even close. So if you start adding Toronto pieces into this, like Kelly Olynyk and whatever, you're just creating a poo-poo platter of like 6 players, 5 players for one superstar, which is never how it works. The framework for a Damian Lillard trade will probably be something like this. One really good young player, one really serviceable vet, and probably like 4 first-round picks or like 3 first-round picks and 1 swap. It's going to look something like that. Lakers don't have swaps. Raptors can't give up swaps. And Raptors won't give up swaps because they're not getting anything of consequence here. So the Lakers just don't have the picks to make a to make a Damian Lillard trade. So basically, they don't have the players, they don't have the picks. Dalton Connect and Austin Reeves doesn't even get you close. Like D'Angelo Russell plus Dalton Connect plus Austin Reeves, you're like probably 3 picks short of a trade. That would make sense. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely makes sense too. I got a second question before I go. If Toronto gets either the first or the second, and I think the first will probably be Flagg, and the second will be Ace. The problem I have with Ace is I think he's more of a shooting guard, and I don't really see him as a small forward. I see him more of a shooting guard, and I don't know if that's what Toronto needs if we get the second round pick. What do you think?
The second round pick?
Like, let's say
I
if
mean,
we
the
get the
second
second
overall
second
pick.
overall pick. Yeah, yes. Would you take Ace with that pick, or because I think he's more fit. I think he's better as a 2 guard, and we already have RJ and Grady. So I don't know. What do you think?
I guarantee you that RJ Barrett does not factor into any decisions in the draft at all. They will not, and neither does Emmanuel Quickly. The only players that factor into the long-term decisions for the Toronto Raptors at this point probably are Scotty Barnes and Grady Dick. Everybody else is a shuffleable piece. Emmanuel Quickly is like loosely part of the core, but like I'm pretty sure if they found a franchise point guard in the draft, they would probably go for it. So yeah, they're not going to draft for position or whatever. If they think Ace Bailey is the second best player in the draft, they will 100% select Ace Bailey. And I don't agree with your take that he's a 2.
What do you think he is, a 3? Oh, 3. Okay.
I think he's a wing. 2, 3. Occasional 1. He's shown some interesting passing chops. He could be like, I don't know. He's been compared to Tracy McGrady. I'm not sure how much of the playmaking chops like to that level I see, but he's a competent playmaker. I have no idea how good he's going to be, man. I've watched 2 games of him at Rutgers, and I watched 4 games of him in high school. I am 100% positive about one high school player right now, AJ DeBonsa. That is the only one. Cooper Flagg, I'm like 90% sure. Ace Bailey, I'm like 82% sure. You know what I mean? Like it's varying degrees. There's no like, oh, that's it, 100%. I'll bet my life on it. No, there's no one like that. There's no one like that.
How good do you think Cooper's gonna be if like I think he's gonna be very good, but like if he goes to Toronto, like how good do you think he could be?
I think he could be a 10-time All-Star.
Yeah, and the good thing is he'll be developed by Darko, which is even better.
Absolutely. Anyways, any final thoughts, man?
No, man. Just thank you for the questions. I gotta go because of the Tyson fight.
Cool. Thanks. All right. Okay. Interesting live stream. Liam saying, I'm so sure this dude is not a Raps fan. Actually, no, recognizing the name, I'm almost positive that he is a Raptors fan. So yeah. Anyways, oh man. It's been a fun night. It's been a fun night. Feel like pulling a page out of whatchamacallit's name, Rasheed Wallace. Both teams played hard, my man. Liam saying, shout out to all my Liams out there. Are there more than one Liam? There is. Okay. Liam with the super chat. Would RJ Quick be a future trade lamb for us? Yes. I think they both could. I think they're more invested in seeing this Quickly thing out. I think they're open to exploring the RJ thing and seeing how good he can be. But when RJ comes up for an extension and, like if they're not super sure about it, they'll do the same thing they did with OG and Pascal, which is move on. What's up, Pen? How you feeling? Thank you so much, Mitsu, for the super chat. I'm good. Thank you for asking. Yeah, yesterday was a weird day, but clarified it with PC, clarified it with playback, messaged playback, messaged PC, got to the bottom of it. And you know what? Turns out wasn't me. As my man Shaggy said, it wasn't me. Yeah. IQ is the Parkway and Barnes is the boardwalk. Dub Monopoly reference there, Ash. Thank you very much for that. Johnny A saying Celtics tomorrow. Yeah. S tier reference for sure. Okay. Overall, this game was competitive until it wasn't. This was a phenomenal loss for the tank for the Flagg, Cooper Flagg, whatever. I I think tomorrow is a very, very tough test. And I'm actually pretty sure the Raptors will compete at least against the Celtics. If you are counting, the Raptors' odds of winning the NBA Cup do not look good. And if you are, of course, counting fully, the Raptors are probably headed for 2-12. And if you are counting, the Raptors are 0-2 in the NBA Cup. And if you are counting, the point differential is not looking too good because you lost the Milwaukee game by a lot. And if you are counting, the Raptors are number 1 on Tankazon. And if you are counting, I'm really, 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 really right about Davion Mitchell. Yeah. And if you're counting, there's 1 more minute until the Mike Tyson fight. Okay, time to go. Check that match out. I was actually thinking a lot about Mike Tyson today and thinking about just how big an icon he was for me growing up in the 90s, early 90s, late 80s, early 90s. Of course, I'm dating myself a little bit here, but he was a beast, man. And controversial figure in sports history, but also a total killer. So, yeah. Rob, you think it's rigged? Nothing surprises me, man. Yes, I am watching it. Okay, I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you very much. And thank you to all of you for the super chats. Oh, one more thing. I'm so sorry. Hold on. I want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to Jean Francois. I hope I'm saying that correctly. And also to Blake. So I want to thank Jean Francois and Blake for this for the e-transfer last night. That was very nice of you. They were very generous. Thank you very much. It goes a tremendous way towards keeping us ad-free and relatively, sponsorship free, and taking scummy sponsorships and stuff to keep the lights on. And thank you to all of you who watch and tune in even after the Raptors lose game after game after game. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you very much. Enjoy the fight to those of you who are watching it. And yeah, talk to you guys later. Take care. Bye.